taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
We do the steps here. It's the Morning Vibe. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner. I almost forgot that. Given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And good morning. It is Friday, November 29th, 2024, the last Friday. Tomorrow's the last day of November, the last Friday in November. Also, this is what they call Black Friday. I have a few quick takes on that in a few moments after we get through some preliminary stuff. And it is the Morning Vibe. Hosts myself and Ryan Knight. Ryan Knight will not be with us today. He is off to a conference. So hopefully we'll see him back on Monday. And let's get some things going here. So first things first, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We are now past, last time I was saying, let's get to 1,610 subscribers. We're now almost at 1,620, which is a thank you. And if you haven't subscribed and if you feel so doing it, please tell people about it. We'd love to get more subscribers, set it out, share it out with more and more family. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, which is always a good thing. Advertise your business, product, or service. If you'd like to do that on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com, and join the Morning Vibe Discord group. No one's checking on me if I'm putting any posts on there, so I'm not going to say anything. I got to take the initiative. Email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. So let's see who is saying hello already this morning. Destiny Savory. Wow. So good to have you here. Hope you are keeping blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and a solution. Oh, wow. JJ Mars. Good Friday morning. JJ Mars, I was thinking about you when I was driving home last night and also getting up this morning. We had our first light snow or a little bit of snow in the Greater Toronto area last night. So I say, I wonder if they have any snow in Colorado. I wonder. And then there's Fitness IQ Cam. What is up, Fitness IQ Cam? She shared some good news with me last night as I was driving outside or back from downtown Toronto last night, which I was at an event. We'll get to that in a minute. But like here I am last night. Oh, I don't know. It was like maybe 11 o'clock-ish, 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish. And there was no, to my knowledge, no major events going on in downtown Toronto last night. Traffic was still ridiculous. And then even more so, the usual route I would take home is there's a main thoroughfare, a highway in Toronto called the Don Valley Parkway. Runs north-south, takes you from downtown up north. So I take my usual route to get on the Don Valley Parkway. Went on Queen Street to get on the Don Valley Parkway. The ramp was closed. Jeez. Which is not a bad thing. It took a little bit of a longer route to get home. Actually, one of the nice things, because I took a longer route, saw a gas station that gas at a really great price, so I filled up my tank. So that was okay. But I guess I don't know. I usually listen to we have a few all news stations here, but the main all news station, I won't give their name because I'm not going to promo them. I don't think they mentioned anything about that ramp being closed. So, but it's all right. It was a nice, relaxing drive. Actually, I had a chance to make some phone calls. A lot of times, if I'm not at home, making calls. The next best place to make calls is when I'm driving in Toronto, because the traffic's so bad. You're not getting anywhere of significance or distance without being caught in traffic. So making those phone calls are a great benefit. Okay, other things going on here. JJ Mars says, we got a lot of snow here. Well, yeah, because if it's chilly here, it's probably chilly down in Colorado. And he said, you had snow starting in early November? Whoa, that doesn't bode well for us here. If you got snow early in November. Wow. Oh my. And Fitness IQ goes, oh dear. No, I didn't mind. This is my philosophy when I'm going to an event or a place. I can't stand traffic getting there. But if I have traffic getting home, at least I'm going home. Right? I don't have to go anywhere once I reach my yard. Right? Miss Fitness IQ Cam Kingston. Right? Kingston. So it was a nice drive and really good. So what's everyone up to this week? For those people who are watching in America, you're enjoying a Thanksgiving weekend. So yesterday was Thanksgiving. I'm sure a lot of people stuffed themselves with food, and I'm sure enough people watch football. There's more football today, all weekend, etc., etc. So that's been going on. How many people are going out to shop on Black Friday? They call it Black Friday. Anyone going to be doing any shopping on Black Friday? Like, they get caught in the bait and switches and all the, I guess back in the day I used to do it. You had to line up at the stores early in the morning. And now since we're so digital, it's all online. And I guess coming up on Monday, call it Cyber Monday. So is anyone planning to do any shopping or buying today? I myself, I shop throughout the year and I know how little pricing goes. So don't get caught in the bait and switch. Don't get caught. LOL, Fitness IQ. Cam says to me, JG Marsh says, I'm skipping shopping. Yeah, well, with what could be going on in the North American economy over the next few months, I'm saying people, be careful with your money. The president-elect of the United States is saying he's threatened a 25% tariff on all Canadian and Mexican goods coming into his country. If that happens, that's going to cause inflation right throughout North America. So listen to me now, family. Make sure even more so your money is in order, because it looks like if this goes through, it looks like inflation is coming back. So make sure you even more so you have your money in order. And actually, a week from today, we'll have Wayne Harris on First Financial Fridays on the Morning Vibe. So I'm sure he'll be saying that. That's one of the things I'm going to ask him ahead of time to talk about in regards to the upcoming world of economics. JG Mars says, yes, more trade wars from 47. Absolutely. Let me get a glass of water here. I'm feeling a little congested and a little dry. Hold on. Okay. Just a little congested up this morning. So, people know that I don't travel to downtown Toronto that often. No, I don't. But last night I had the opportunity to go to a really amazing event called the Connecting for Change dinner. And a little background, there's a lady, I want to get her name right, because I want to give her props for putting this together. So just give me a quick second. Of course, I can't find her name. That is hilarious. Okay, let me just see if we can find it here. Yes, the lady's name is Snejana Prujinic, and she runs an organization called Circle of Point Wellness. And she's done a lot of stuff with immigrant communities, leadership, et cetera. And every few months, she puts on this dinner called the Connecting for Change dinner. And what it's about is she invites 12 people. That's it. 12 people, intimate dinner. And it's people from different backgrounds, et cetera. and people that are recognized as leaders are doing progressive things in their sectors. So I was invited, not directly, but indirectly. There is a client who I serve her organization. You know what? I won't put it out there. And she emailed me earlier this week saying, Dr. Vibe, hope you're doing okay. There's this event called the Connecting for Change dinner. Stop it. Of course I'd be invited. Stop it, Fitness IQ Cam. No, I'm just a guy. And she said, no, I've been invited to this event. I can't make it, and I'd like you to go, and our company will pay for it. I said, oh, okay. All right. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I said, okay, I'll go. And hey, if they're foot in the bill, hey, I'm not complaining. So believe it or not, I'm one of these people. I don't mind going to events where I know nobody because it's a chance for me to increase my social skills, potentially develop new relationships. So it's in downtown Toronto. For those who know downtown Toronto, Spadina and Queen area. So in the heart of what they call Chinatown. And so I went there. It's on the 5th floor of this place called the Social Innovation. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, something like that. So I think I've put it up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. So it's 12 people, 2 tables of 6 people each, and you get a chance to communicate, meet new people. Like I said, new and nobody there. But here's an interesting thing. And the chef there, wow, amazing guy, and has been in the Food Center for Social Innovation. Thank you, Minnie on Cam. Thank you. You're already adding positive value before we get you on screen today with your fancy microphone and your microphone boom. All right. So we went, and I got introduced to the chef for the evening and we got served a 5-course meal. Hello. But the chef and I spoke for about 15-20 minutes. He gave his whole story. Amazing. So we sat down, again, each person at the table. We talked, introduced themselves, and the lady Snezana has a theme for each dinner. So this is the 3rd one she did. And the theme of the evening was, how do we take care of each other and ourselves? Great conversation topic. And I'm not going to give away all her questions, but there were 5 questions, and each person would take a question, ask it, answer it, and then people on the table would then answer the same question. And I'm going to leave this question for you to think about. And the first question was, what does care mean to you? What does care mean to you? Oh, Fitness IQ, I'll be calling you to get the answers. You mean get the questions, not the answers. I don't know if I'm going to give out all the questions because I'm going to ask her if I can use this because it was a great conversation. The gentleman who I sat beside, he has a financial institution that that helps nonprofits, big time nonprofits, increase their reach, financial management, leadership. Fascinating guy. Just off the bat, really fascinating guy. And within, of course, I said, okay, I'll take the first question. Now, you had a choice. I took that first question. What does care mean to you? And I shared, and the guy beside me, we got to talk. Okay, I said, no problem. So just there, within 2 minutes of just sharing, it was amazing. She also said, I'll also give you another nice little secret she had. What she did is that before you left, she asked you to, you have those little 3x5 cue cards. She asked, what are some things you want to achieve in the next 6 months? So she had you write down what you wanted to achieve. And then what she did is she had you put it in an envelope and put your name and address on it. And she was going to mail it to you in 6 months. Really cool. Really, really cool. Hey, good morning, Ryan Sing Sweet. Hey, And let me tell you something. If people want some more information, it does cost. And I'm gonna show you, but it's a really good evening and good potential potential people. So there's the prices. Community plate. This is a ticket for community members at not-for-profit organizations. It's accessible price. Please use only if you require so it can remain accessible. Chef's plate, $250. And the extra plate, this is our pay it forward rate. Supports being able to offer the community plate rate. So yeah. So here's more here. The venue, the Depanneur. And so it was on the 5th level of the Center for Social Innovation. Really cool. There's the gentleman, the chef, Michael Kirkwood. He was amazing. Like his story. And he also put together a cookbook featuring recipes from people of different cultures. Did he say about 99 different representatives? Different chefs contributed to recipes of the book. And then this is cool. Their charitable partner, 9 to 5, is a nonprofit global leader that advocates improving the workplace, mental health in the hospitality sector through practical education, meaningful community building, and providing resources. The vision is for a culinary industry to support and provide equitable psychological safety for all. Now, people who may know me a little bit, I don't watch a lot of TV, but one of the shows, I like food shows, and one of the shows I watch is Top Chef Canada. And one of the episodes they had their first Top Chef fundraiser, and it was hosted by Not 9 to 5. And the lady who runs Not 9 to 5 was sitting 2 away from me. Actually, we spoke before everyone sat down. I said, "Hey, I know you from Top Chef." She goes, yeah. But we had a great conversation. I mean, it was a really good evening. And if anyone wants to know more about attending an event like this, please contact me. I highly recommend it. Actually, the gentleman I sat beside, it's the second time he's been there because he's found so much value from it. So great evening. Highly recommend it. Destiny Saver says, "I'd like to attend the next one." Okay, well, get in contact with me. Absolutely, get in contact with me because, I would love to have. My vision is to go again, and I may like to have at least 1 or 2 other people attend the event with me because I found so much value. It was a really good. The food was fantastic. Like it was, like I said, 5 or 6 course meal, and then like the 3rd course was a beet salad. In my mind, I said, I didn't need anything else after it. It was so good. And it was a farm to table menu. And on Monday, I'll show you pictures, but there was a main seating area and around the corner was the kitchen. And you could go and actually watch everything be prepared. I actually took some few pictures of stuff and actually the space itself. Good stuff. Minnie on Cam says, "Yes, I would like to attend. Dinner with strangers is always fun." Well, I always find it educational, but everyone there was amazing. They had great stories. And we also made a commitment. Some of us, we're going to start a brainstorming group from that. So we're supposed to be getting an email with everyone's email address in a day or two. Also, actually, one gentleman traveled all the way from Oshawa to come to the event, and there were actually 3 Black men there. Yes, absolutely. And the gentleman who traveled from Ottawa, oh, come on, I don't know if you're talking truth here. Just wait. Ryan says, "You've lost so much weight, looking good." I don't know if I have, but I just a little sidelight. Last week I did a 3-day juice fast, care of my good buddies at Energy Shack Juice Bar, Carolyn and her team. And I went to see her this week. He says, "Man, you've lost weight." I go, "Really?" So thank you, Ryan Singh, and congratulations on the continue accolades for your Ray of Hope documentary. Okay, so yeah, last night was a great night. Like it was really, really good. And the night before that, I feel like I'm on a mini tour here. The night before that, I was at the Foodpreneur Gala. I have. Okay. All right. Thank you. I was at the Foodpreneur Gala, and Foodpreneur Labs is run by Janice Bartley and her team, her sister, and their team. And what an amazing night. Foodpreneur Lab, they're shutting down their cohort now, but a great organization that helps women, particularly women of color, get their food products from the home to shelf. And it was really special there because their mother was there. And their mother is 84 years old, and she has known me from birth. Or she said she knew me from when I was before I came to this world. And it was so wonderful to just sit with her. And it was a really special, it was like family, and just really, really special evening, and really care deeply for the Bartley family and continue great heart work that they continue to do. And it was just nice to see Janice there sharing all the great successes and how much Foodpreneur Labs has meant to her, and just seeing her mother and I said, "Are you proud of your girls?" She says, "I'm more than proud." And that was a really special moment. So I'm rambling on too much here, but there's a lot more I could share, but it ain't about me today. Minnie on Cam's in the house, and she's going to bring a lot of stuff to you today from the world of disabled. So we're going to take a break for about, I don't know what we're going to do today. I don't know. We'll take a break for about a minute, and we'll be right back with Minnie on Cam on the Morning Vibe. Keep it locked, and thanks to everyone for being here. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. We'll see you in a minute.
Hi, everyone. I was just on the Dr. Vibe show a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to talk about how wonderful the experience was. I was there to talk about a Buy Blacks article, but what I really appreciated about being on the Dr. Vibe morning show was that very quickly, as my story started to unfold, Dr. Vibe was able to pivot, ask really interesting questions to give the context to the audience and listener about why the article was personal to me, who I am as an author and writer, and give all of that additional context so that the audience understands the perspective that I'm speaking from, which I think is very, very important in journalism. It was a warm experience and invitation. I had a wonderful time being on, and I would recommend anyone else interested in participating on the Dr. Vibe morning show do so, because it's a wonderful time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hilary LeBlanc of Hilary LeBlanc Media, and also Black New Brunswick. So, Black Atlantic. Blacks in Atlantic Canada. So thank you so much for the kind words. Thanks everyone for being here. And is there anything else I want to share? There was something during the break that came into my alleged mind and it left. So yeah, but the weight thing, should I get on a scale and see, family? Wow. That's cool. If you're noticing it, thank you so much. All right. It is the last Friday of November, and last Friday of each month, we are graced with the presence of the real microphone known as Minnie on Cam. What is up, Minnie on Cam?
I got my CPAP machine.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. When did that happen?
Last night or yesterday or all of yesterday. But definitely yesterday. So.
There's a win. Let's celebrate the win. And how long did you have to wait to get it?
It was instant. It was already there. I got there late because I went to Queen's Park Station instead of St. Patrick's.
Oh.
And then, because I thought Queen's Park was closer and said St. Patrick's was across the street.
Yep.
But the lady, the vendor, she was awesome. Like, she deals with ODSP every day. Then she had to fill out paperwork for the Ontario Assisted Device Program. It's a lot of paperwork. And then I wasn't covered for $275, but then she understands the situation. She offered it for $125.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the level of I have to negotiate a lower price because my insurance is ODSP. And sometimes it works out really well, but other times it's a big embarrassment. It's very, I don't know. It's just like, it's part of the course for me, but I wish more people were aware of it so they can complain to governments about it so that they can make it more accessible.
Cool. So how was your first night of sleep with your machine?
The machine said I did 5.5 hours of sleep.
What do you usually get?
6, 5, in that range. So I got my normal sleep. It's just that I woke up. I know I woke up twice because at one point it's because the air pushing out of the machine and then you have to breathe with the machine. That is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up twice. I tried again, and then near 5 or 6 o'clock, I couldn't do it anymore. It's because like you're wearing a headgear, and then the hose has to be near the machine, and then you have to sleep. I can't sleep on my stomach anymore. I have to sleep on my side. But the restful sleep, I felt it the first time I woke up.
Nice.
Instead of this groggy, dizzy feeling I would get, it definitely did not happen yesterday. And that's only day 1. I still have to try this out for 3 months and do a follow-up.
Okay. Well, your fellow champion, Fitness IQ Cam says, "Yay! Congrats."
I may or may not have sent her a picture of my CPAP machine.
Okay. And it's interesting. Before we go any further, like it's interesting. I find out how many people have challenges sleeping. Like, and you wouldn't know it unless I'm curious and I ask about people. Like a lot of times, so many people I know have, like one of my closest associate. I didn't find out until like a year and a half ago. He has problems, and we've chatted. We know each other for years. Yeah, I have trouble sleeping. I go, what?
But for me, I did my psych evaluation in May with CAMH. I mentioned I snore sometimes. They said if I see a sleep psychologist, I didn't even know what that was. In the notes,
There's such a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly. So the follow-up notes recommended a sleep study. And then when I follow up with my family doctor, I told her that CAMH said I should do a sleep study. And then I went and found a location that was nearby. Luckily, it was down the street from my family doctor. Because you don't know you have a problem with sleep, and someone really complains about your snoring. Like my granddad, he had surgery and different stuff. And then with me, my mom said, yeah, you always snore. But like always snoring is an indicator that something is wrong. So, and then there's levels of snoring. Like I remember when my cat would snore, it's just quite a little snoring. And I thought it was cute. Snoring, if it's quiet, it's not cute. Whatever it is, get it checked out. It's like yes, it's very annoying to sleep with wires all over your head and have people watch you, but that information tells them everything about your sleep. Like they tell you if they move, how many times you wake up. Like they said I stopped breathing for 10 seconds, 32 times in the night. That's a lot. That's almost a whole 60 minutes of me not breathing.
Yeah.
About 10 seconds at a time.
100%. Yeah, I for me, sleeping is not a challenge because when I want to go to sleep, my brain says, gone.
Yeah, that's one part of it. But the brain waves are doing a whole nother part of it. I'm learning that. So you may think you fall asleep very quickly, and then in the sleep, that's when the real magic happens.
Gotcha. Got you. Yeah, well, again, congratulations on the victory, and I'm sure I'll be hearing the progress offline and how that is going. So that is good. So where do you want to start off with your appearance this month?
The funeral I attended. We'll start there.
Yeah, so let me bring it up. I saw bring it up. Is that for Isabella?
Yeah.
Okay. So do tell us who this lady is and what she's all about. What she is and was all about.
So I only know of Isabella based on her flyers she would post around town to raise awareness about increasing the rates of ODSP. So around town, she would post these bright neon yellow signs all over town, a couple times a year. And then through the community and other people advocating, I got to know her name, but I've never met her. I've never met her. I just know in the disability community, she's one of the people that used to stop traffic. She used to, at one point, she thought she would run for mayor. She's just one of the advocates that press on the government her whole life while she could to raise poverty awareness, increase ODSP while living with her own disability, HIV, transition from being transgender, because she was a male first and now she's a female. Like it's a whole impactful thing of why we have what we have in disability. Because if it wasn't for her being so aggressive and consistent about it, ODSP will probably still be $1,069. And now it's $1,368. It's still not enough, but to press on government to increase it takes a lot of effort. And she is one of the persons that pushed that effort.
How did you find out about her?
Online, somebody posted her funeral, and then I just kept a note of it, and then I added it to my calendar, and luckily it was nearby. It was walking distance, so I attended.
Okay. And was it a well-attended event?
Yes, it was. That's what's shocking about it. But then I realized majority of the people that attended, they're also like majority of the people attended, they're on ODSP or they help people. They're social workers. It was her sister. It was just when I got there, the room had so much tension. I felt my chest being crushed just because the environment. It's not like, funerals are already sad.
Yeah.
Then we have a funeral that's from a person who's on disability, eligible for ODSP. The entire funeral is paid by ODSP. They bought the casket, they did the cremation, they booked the chapel. That's part of my insurance plan of being on government assistance. But just the attendance was a combination of anger and sadness. And then the way the pastor chaplain conducted the service, that was the only time I felt release in my body from the service. Like it didn't stop until the casket was closed for me. That's the energy I felt in the room. And then after, her sister invited a handful of us for drinks. And then she asked how the service felt. And I told her, I felt like there's a brick on my chest until the casket closed. And it's just that, like, I've been to a lot of other funerals, but this was the only one that had this physical change on me. And it's because of the environment where most of the people are on ODSP, most of the people, they're living below the poverty line. We're trying to act like normal people and attend a funeral. And I only was able to talk to one person who was going to school to be a funeral director on ODSP himself as a couple with his life partner. And he was the only one that felt like I could talk to that felt like they were working while they're on ODSP, other than me.
Wow. So what legacy, if at all, of this person do you want to carry on, or what inspires you to what was their life? What inspires you to continue doing what you're doing? Did anything you take from their journey?
Well, there was a lot of quotes of living your life. It wasn't like their life choices were their life choices, but the end of the message was, I can't sit around and just be lazy. Go live your life, whatever that is. And for me, it's bringing financial education to people with disabilities, so they're more in charge of lifting themselves out of poverty instead of waiting for the government. And with talking with people, they want that information. And then with talking with her sister, she lived in the same environment as her sister. There came a family of 9. They were both in poverty in Canada. They grew up in it. They grew up survival mode, not having enough, 9 children, trying to make it in rural town, Canada. But she chose not to be in poverty, her sister. She took us to the most fanciest Royal York restaurant for drinks, paid for everything. And my mind was like, what? I sometimes go in situations where I feel underqualified to be in the situation.
Why do you feel like that?
It's from living in poverty. It's from living in the below the poverty line. Because sure, like I have interesting life experience, but on paper, I'm poor. I'm below the poverty line. I access every government assistance program there is. My CPAP machine wouldn't have happened if the government didn't pay for it, the portion that they paid for. And then I'm climbing out of it, but I'm climbing out of it where I have some choices and I don't have a lot of choices. Like one of the choices I do not have, Canada Post strike is happening right now.
Yes.
My rent check is stuck at the ODSP office. I'm not authorized to pick it up and hand it to my landlord. Head office for my landlord has to send their person to pick it up. Then I have to spend all of December tracking down my November payment. Then December 20th, the next disability payment comes out. Then I don't know if Canada Post is going to stop being on strike December 20th. So my check is paid on time. And because I didn't make enough income, I wasn't able to go into my landlord's portal to pay rent from the portal. So they have a payment on file that I paid and I'm current. That level of stress that I go through only really happens to people that are on social assistance.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was going to mention at the beginning of the show at this event I was at last night, and put writing on the card what you want to see in your life in 6 months, and this lady mailing it to us. I said sarcastically, well, hopefully the postal strike will be done by then. So it's having a big impact on. Okay, let's take an aside there. What are some of the impacts? And for those people in the United States, here in Canada right now, we have a national postal strike. What impacts does that have on the disability community from your lens?
They don't get their checks. They literally do not get their checks. They do not get their checks in the mail in a certain routine that we are accustomed to having come in. It's not just people with disabilities. It's seniors. It's anybody who chooses check as the option. And then not just checks. Okay, grandma sent you something for Christmas and or your birthday, or some gift they found in storage and you really wanted. Whatever delivery communication that's happening through the mail, it's not happening right now. And last time we had the Canada Post strike, my rent was paid. This time, I don't know where it is. It didn't hit me until yesterday. And some thought asked a question of my pay direct. Like, I knew Canada Post strike was happening, but because half of my disability check is direct deposit, it didn't click in that the other half is in the mail. And I'm told right now I can't stop it because the way the policy is written in ODSP for pay direct, it was done when I was facing eviction, disconnection of services for my landlord and my hydro bill. And because it's from the disability system, so being disabled and being incapable of managing your finances, legally, they've taken over that part of my disability check. And I was trying to explain it to my friend the other day, and because with her disability file, she automatically gets direct deposit for all of her income from disability. She doesn't understand that frustration right now until she moves into government housing. Then, like, the more you access government services, the more they literally control everything about your life. And then with me going through a financial coaching program through a government nonprofit that does credit counseling, I'm the only one dealing with this frustration. Like, everybody else in the group is like, oh, they have too much debt, they have too much spending. Me, it's no, I have very, very low income controlled by the government. And I'm trying to take over and regain my choices and autonomy. And I may have to contact legal aid to fight back with the government assistance to gain back my power and autonomy.
All right. Well, Fitness IQ says wilds. Yeah, I hear you. And it was interesting. We talked a little bit last night at this event over the postal strike, and the lady who led the event last night says, yeah, well, all you get these days in the mail, there are envelopes from CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, and bills, but other people do depend on the post office, like yourself.
And there's some people who only get checks in the mail. So like my business is self-employment, the affiliate commissions, they would mail me a check. So the last time we had the Canada Post strike and we had some service resumed, my check has different stamps of which distribution station picks it up. It went to Montreal, it went to Ottawa.
Went to where?
Montreal, Ottawa,
Hold
than
on.
Toronto.
You live in Toronto. Why is it going to
Exactly.
Montreal?
This is how our mail travels. People don't realize how our just like 3 to 5 business days, okay. But the route it takes could be any of the stations across the country, any of the mail distributed stations across the country. And then when my building had the way the Canada Post goes into the mailbox, their key was broken. So the whole door was broken. I had to go to the pickup station to pick up my mail. It's a giant warehouse in the middle of nowhere, Toronto. And the lady took 20 minutes to find my mailbox in their giant other mailboxes for my mail, plus showing ID that it's actually me to get my ID to pick up my mail from my mailbox in my neighborhood based on my postal code. So Canada Post, yeah, I fully understand why they're on strike, but I fully understand how that system is super complicated and only a certain group of people are doing that job.
Wow. I guess the last time I had anything to do in any sort of extent with Canada Post was what was it, last year? They opened up their big new facility. It's up in North Scarborough, and they had a big launch event. It's named after the first Black Canadian postman, and it's a beautiful facility. And they said they can process a package from start to finish in like 20 minutes, something like that. But I don't know. I know they process packages. I don't know. I think they probably do mail there too. But it was quite the facility. So while we are speaking that this situation will get resolved sooner rather than later, because it's impacting yourself and others in your community, and I'm sure it's also businesses too. I know it's impacting also, especially small businesses too, because there's still a lot that does get done.
Oh yeah, and prescriptions. Oh, right. So my pharmacist for my multiple sclerosis prescription, it was Canada Post or a private driver. At first I said Canada Post. I'm so glad I did not say that now. Yeah, some people's prescriptions are delivered in the mail.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Wow. All right. What else you want to chat about today? I know Isabella was an important thing. What else you wanted to share about?
I had the Google slide to try show the 2 paths of being on disability insurance.
Is that the slide that has my lived experiences? No, that's not that one. Okay, you're going to have to guide me.
I called it in the notes, my path on disability. And I highlighted in yellow.
Okay, give me a second here as we...
If it's not open, because I know you have a lot of tabs.
I don't have it. No, that's gone. I'm just trying to... Okay, let me just look at something here.
And then I titled it Social Assistance or Long-Term... Yeah, the superpower one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me put this up and see if it's what my alleged mind is getting from here. What's the title? What's the title? Social leadership. Is it? Yeah. Is it this one? Oh. Had it and then put away. Sorry. There. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can zoom in more for the audience. Well, that's too much of a zoom, so we'll have to reduce it. So it'll have to be down to 100. Okay, we got it on screen. All right, so let's talk about this.
So I made a timeline of my entire history of being on Ontario Works, working minimum wage, being diagnosed with psychiatric disorder, applying for ODSP, then diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and then finding my psychotherapist, GP psychotherapist. So there's a small in the population of doctors, a small group of them are general practitioner doctors who are also psychotherapists, and they keep you as a patient as long as humanly possible. So I had mine from 2011 till August 2020, And she's the one that was able to diagnose me correctly as bipolar disorder type 2 and finally pinpoint a working prescription that I'm still on called Quietapine or Seroquel. And then I realized I thought I was missing something from not being on private disability insurance. If you had an employer, then you had the insurance benefits or the health benefits, and then as for short-term disability to long-term disability, I learned that the regulations in both insurance companies for disability, whether it's government for social assistance or the regulations for private disability, they all work under government regulation and lawyers and the Government Insurance Act in the law. And all of them are not adequately funded. They keep everybody poor, and it's just a giant constant battle of bureaucracy trying to access your benefits in no matter which one you're accessing. So I learned that private insurance, they'll pay out 50 to 75% of your income on it, which I've learned is roughly $4,000 for the people I've been able to talk to share that real number, to government assistance for Ontario Disability Support Program, $1,368. So 2004 to 2008, minimum wage was anywhere from $6.85 to $8.75 an hour. And I would not work minimum wage at that time. I'd always work call center, paying $10 to $20 an hour. And then with my last call center job in 2008, that's when I was having my psychiatric disorder. It was very difficult for me to maintain a job. So me putting the timeline down and seeing exactly what was going on in my life in different years out of the last 20 years, it just showed that people really don't know what's going on with someone else at all. Because yes, you have your coworkers, but you have no idea if they're trying to apply for short-term disability. If you have no idea of, do they have enough money to do laundry to come back in business casual clothes? It's just a very difficult thing I want people to be aware of, because if you, let's say you think you're healthy right now and you have your health insurance in place, when you need to access that insurance, they don't make it easy. It's designed in a way to make it the most challenging, difficult thing that they hope you give up and go away.
Just want to say, Fitness IQ Cam says my grandma isn't with Canada Post. Does that mean she doesn't get her medication via Canada Post? I need a little more context on that. And also, good morning, happy Friday all to Dr. Tachi, the brain trust, the driver behind a lovely site called Indie Soup TV, which has, I thought it was 40, but there's a little over between 20 and 30 independent content creators that create great content. I'm actually one of the people on there. Also, I'm a member of the advisory board, and they have gone over 20,000 YouTube subscribers in about 7 months. So definitely check out some edited content from the stuff that I do and other great content creators on indiesoupmedia.tv. This is a nice little thing about your journey. I love this. It really compacts it really well. And I want to ask, in regards to the psychotherapist piece, retired, were you able to replace your psychotherapist?
Yeah, I've had social workers, emergency care. My doctor does longer appointments for wellness checks. Elizabeth Fry put me in the substance use and trauma therapy for 8 weeks. I'm always in a program, or I'm always on a waiting list for a program. It's just part of my routine because I know how the system works. Like, this is why with Fitness IQ Cam, and she's being a caregiver for her dad right now, I loaded her up with resources that I know, because she has to navigate the government system as an advocate for her dad. And it's going to take a while. And depending on your disability or condition or diagnosis or symptoms, even like with me, I was in a psychotic state and I used to be resistant of the treatment, but luckily, depending who I talked to, they somehow got a window where I said yes. if I was still in a mode of saying no, I wouldn't be here right now. I know, like, for me, I know that, like, me always adding a program, seeing a new therapist, like Gene Tweed has their psychotherapy counseling for 3 years. I'm now going with the second social worker counselor right now. And it may last another year of sessions. And then if I want to go one more year, I'll take my 3rd year of counseling sessions, I'll take it. And then in full-time post-secondary education, some of the colleges offer psychotherapy. It's part of the tuition at colleges. As soon as I'm able to go back to full-time college, I will take every appointment available for psychotherapy. It's just part of my wellness care. Like the question you had at the beginning for the dinner, it's just part of how I care for myself. It's part of how I care for myself and other people care for me. And it's the government funding, and depending who's running in politics for our province or country, they screw it up. They really do. The level of, oh, we should cut that, but you're cutting a vital resource for a lot of people in the population of people that you need to vote for you. I need to be mentally stable to vote the next election. If I'm not mentally stable to vote the next election, I'm not voting. And it's because somebody decided to cut something that I needed. Because now it's definitely harder for me to access programs, but because we know it's difficult, we just automatically keep being in a program. Like me waiting for my ADHD diagnosis. CAMH dropped the ball on giving me an appointment. Now we sent it over to Women's College Hospital. Then when I do my follow-up in January, I ask my doctor, do you have any word of who will do my ADHD diagnosis? Then I would tell her I found someone who can do it for $375. I will pay for the service if I need to in the new year. Probably from my birthday money or Christmas money, we'll be paying for it to get my diagnosis of ADHD.
Catching up with some comments here. Fitness IQ Cam says, yes, she gets her meds. I said, phew, because that would be another dilemma trying to solve. Yep. Dr. Tachi says, Grace Hands, good to have you here. Also, Fitness IQ says, I have a lot of things to read. And, just going back to the postal strike, and someone who's helping out on today's conversation in the background says her mother works for Canada Post. She has to picket every day and she can't stand it. The picketing is not fun. I also want to bring up another aspect here. Caregiving from the aspect of caregiving for someone who is disabled. Can you provide any lens on that? Because you mentioned about, the caregiving. And like right now, Fitness IQ Cam is in a situation where she has to be a caregiver. But what about caregiving when in an area where it's someone who's disabled?
It's difficult. And so when I attend my peer support groups, sometimes there's caregivers there for their children or spouse. So it's not just individuals with disabilities, it's the whole community that show up at these meetings. And this is why Fitness IQ, I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm up at 4 a.m. Here's all your resources. I gave her a hotline. I gave her a youth support group. There's a lot. And then Credit Canada had a webinar on caregiving and finances. Anything that's a caregiver that I found in the last 2 weeks, I sent it to her. I know right now she probably doesn't have the energy to read all of them, but it was more of, you have no excuse. There is somebody out there who's out there to help you. And that was with me when I was going through my psychiatric disorder. I had to really learn there's people out there to help you, because I thought my family would be there, and my family is only there at the capacity they can be there, like helping with my CPAP machine or my colonoscopy appointment in July. They were there a lot this year financially. Emotionally, not so much, in the way that my grandma's barbecue, and she had me running up and down the house with all the stairs, and I lost my balance. The only way they would know something was wrong with me if I fell down. Where now I'm hoping, because the way that the CPAP machine is, my foot is not swollen right now. So which means I could probably walk a little bit longer when I go get groceries, or be less tired to get groceries. But the whole caregiving thing, like the funeral, there's a lot of people that are PSWs or nurses aides or that career profession that needs to be paid well, trained well, and people need to understand sometimes that's someone's only option. Like my colonoscopy appointment where I needed someone to take me home after my appointment, I hired a PSW. My family was unavailable at that time because they booked their work schedule 6 to 8 weeks in advance. And then I said, you can pay me your day of work for my appointment so I can come home and have someone, she washed the dishes for me while I ordered food. I didn't have to really worry about side effects of the anesthesia because there was somebody doing all the housework that I would have to do by myself. Like I do everything by myself, but then now I'm putting into the budget PSW to hire as part of my caring needs. And then if it's a family member doing it, that's a lot because depending on who you're helping, like parents don't really want children to give them advice about life. Okay, fine. But we know stuff. We know stuff that they don't know.
Yeah.
And that knowledge is not equally accepted sometimes. And then with the caregiving situation, if there's a language barrier or they feel like they can't ask for help or something, that is an environment that I know it's there because I've been through it kind of by myself, but I also know it's harder if there's multiple people involved. I'm watching it with my family to deal with my uncle and my other uncle when they were near the end of their life. It was not pretty because the amount of arguments of opinions in the room.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I always say that it's always interesting to watch family and friends during significant events such as births, marriages, and deaths. Watch how people react to those, at least those three events in the journey called life. It's always interesting to see how people react. And a lot of times when it comes to health challenges, it can be challenging. I'll just leave it at that. Especially with the family member stuff, it can be very, very wearing on people. Let's put it that way. All right. What else are you wanting to share with us this month?
Well, there is a lot of stuff going on at Queen's Park.
Okay, so Queen's Park, for those people who are watching, especially if you're outside of Canada, that is where the head of the government for the province of Ontario. So give us some insights from your lens about what's going on with the Ontario government and disability.
So making the notes for this back to back, there was just so much media attention on people with disabilities from the Canada Disability Benefit. They published their public feedback for it. I remember sending it to Fitness at the Cam IQ about it. Some of the sections in that regulation have like 1,000 comments of how $200 a month for a person with disability is not going to lift them out of poverty, and there's too much regulation and bureaucracy to access it. So that is one thing we have to worry about. Then Christian Wong Tam, who's my MPP for my neighborhood, she was reading, she did a live stream on her YouTube channel of reading all the issues around raising ODSP. And I can't say that it's my letter, but it's definitely the talking points of my letter that she was reading. And then the way that they would record the opposite party arguing what she's raising.
The opposition.
I hate the opposition. I just do. Right now, anybody who's NDP or Green Party, they are advocating in Parliament or Queen's Park to raise disability, notice people with disabilities are living in poverty. And I wish kind of they would say that it could happen to anybody. Like I got diagnosed in my 20s. I'm told I have my whole life to live ahead of me. I have lesions in my brain and my spine that affect where I don't sleep. Like I literally stop breathing because maybe the lesion, whatever the lesion is in my brain, is not having me fully sleep like a normal person. and all the other people, my MS group, support group, or disability support group, the disability age range in these groups support are anywhere from 20 to 60. Age 20 to 60. And the range of disability is everything, even to the point there's a gentleman who came from one of the Indian countries, South Asian countries, to Canada to join our military in Canada. Now he has PTSD and all the other side effects of war. He can't work. Like, and he's on military assistance and government assistance and all these things. And it was just a very sad experience to feel of, he came from another country to this country, joined our military, disabled now, and I have no idea what services he's asking, what supports he's asking, therapy he's getting. He's just blended into the assistance of charity groups and government handouts right now. Like that's what could, like, we have many people in the military going to another country right now. When they come back, there's no guarantee they're coming back healthy. And then if they don't come back healthy, they're not accessing a buffet of services to support them. It's a lot of bureaucracy that they're fighting for in another country for us. So the more I learn about the disability community and ask different questions of people in the groups, and it has me angry, has me frustrated, because I physically can't really do a whole lot except write my MPs and MVP about what's going on. But they're still making policies to make it difficult to protect the stakeholders to make money. Because when you read all the legal jargon the way it is, it's always about protecting the stakeholders and taxpayer money. And it's written in legal, black and white, right in your face in subsection B or A or C. It's really annoying. It really is.
Fitness IQ Cam says, "Oh, I glimpsed it. I believe you. I guess Fitness IQ Cam, you're talking about the letter by so good stuff. What other things have you been hearing from the provincial government? Or rumbles from the provincial government?"
So the annoying $200 or $200, depending which government you're looking at. So Trudeau wants to offer $250. Doug Ford wants to offer $200 for taxpayers, but both of them exclude low-income people, people on disability, people that don't work or unable to work because they're medically retired because due to disability, and seniors. So, and this whole GST rebate during December to February, I'm not buying all those things that I would get any discount on. Maybe the water I bought, the distilled water for my CPAP machine, it was $1.99. It was but that was the only item I was buying on that trip. So I don't like the way that the Canadians are getting this wonderful rebate. No, we're not. I'm born here. I'm not getting it. Like, so I can't even.
So
I don't know. It's not a good benefit for me to be excited about. It's just a nice distraction because an election is coming.
Yeah, provincially, and it looks like also federally too. Wow. Well, that is crazy stuff.
And then the report of Food Bank Canada, 3.9 more visits to the food bank. That report, that report, where's that link? We should share that report. That report is the most depressing thing in the entire world of how many Canadians are accessing food banks. And it's not just people with disability accessing the food bank.
No, it's not. That is a fact. That is a fact. The visits to food banks is only increasing regularly. And as I said in the first part of our conversation today on the Morning Vibe, that if the president-elect of the United States imposes those tariffs, things are just going to go through the roof cost-wise, even more so. It will cause, if a North American, if not a global recession?
So I put in our private chat the link to the Who's Hungry report.
Okay, let me just pull it out. All right, so let's see if we can get it up on the screen. All right, let's do stuff in real time here, which we love to do.
I mean, there is a video that goes with it, but it gets weird when he talks about the Taylor Swift street signs that are being auctioned off to raise money for the Food Bank Canada.
Yes, I heard about that. And actually, I wonder, so yeah, Who's Hungry? Wow. So there we go. So in partnership with North York Harvest Food Bank and the Daily Bread Food Bank have released Who's Hungry 2024 annual profile of food insecurity and poverty in Toronto. There's a gentleman a number of years ago, well, back in my university days, I met this gentleman, and we actually used to referee football together. And then about 4 years ago, I made a visit to the North York Harvest Food Bank to serve, and he was working there. I wonder if he's still there. Wow, but sidelight, let's get to the main story. In just 1 year, we saw nearly 1 million more food bank clients visits at a record-breaking 3.49 million visits. That's more than the population of Toronto. Wow. 57% of the clients cited the high cost of living as their reason for visiting the food bank. Food bank clients have a median monthly income of $1,265. This is just over half Toronto's official poverty line for a single person. Almost 9 in 10 clients live in unaffordable housing, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities. 58% are from single-person households. 50% missed a meal to pay for something else. 49% of food bank clients have at least one member of their household who's employed. Our city is at a breaking point, and so are our food banks. Food banks cannot fix food insecurity, and we can keep up with this demand. So let me see if I can crystallize this thought in my head. Oh, and JJ Mars has a comment here. Food banks have always been in short supply in America, so probably the same thing there too also. Wow. I know I'm asking a question you may not be able to give an answer to, but and just through your thought process here, of the percentage of people who are in the disabled community, what percentage do you feel are using food banks?
So, because of my peer support groups and the MS support group, so people living with MS, it's the way our blood work is and our follow-ups for their doctors. They are constantly checking, are we deficient in something that we should be getting from our food? I officially now know that members in my group, women that are older than me, are missing a meal. While me, I brag about short ribs, oxtail, all the foods I cook. That part, for me, it's hard to go to the grocery store and make sure I have the right foods. I'm not missing a meal right now. Plus, mom, dad, or grandma would make sure I get something, like my 10-pound bag of jasmine rice. Thank you, grandma. But that doesn't help someone get better or reduce symptoms or reduce demyelination of the brain and spine. It doesn't. They like, even if they could do a juice cleanse with the 1 day out of their meal schedule, that's what they're doing. That's how they're, like, one lady said that she's drinking sugar water, but she gained weight from drinking sugar water. And then with hers, she's a scooter or a wheelchair. It's in her MS lesions are in the brainstem. That everything is in the brainstem for your body. And then because the way MS is, you can be diagnosed in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and now there's studies of people in their 50s being diagnosed with MS. And then depending on like what insurance, are you getting government insurance? Are you getting your employer's insurance? A lot of people got employer's insurance who have MS, who just sit around social media all day because they're married, so that their spouse is able to bring in the income for the food. But a lot, like, it's just a huge chasm divide spectrum where I'm lucky and I'm not lucky at the same time. Like I still have pot roast in my freezer to defrost to make pot roast, and other people don't even have pot roast or they never seen one. So the whole food thing, and then the YouTube link of Raise the Rates Coalition, and Daffodil Davis is speaking. She works at North York Harvest Food Bank. She is a person of color. She's the one that works at the food bank thinking she's helping people. And she's venting to the government, you're not helping anybody, you're making my job harder. She physically said that she's tired of the demand of feeding people because that's a problem that needs to be fixed. Like, people that work in that environment know exactly what's wrong, to the point they're burnt out. They're mentally and physically exhausted of servicing the charity need that's never ending. Like the food thing, it's very hard because I know there's people who don't even get to think about cooking the meals I cook for myself at all. Plus the supplements my doctor orders, like iron infusions or B12, or like, people are getting scurvy in a food bank. Scurvy I thought was for pirates. So yeah, this is how I end that question.
That is crazy. Actually, I added a little bit of delay because I'm just taking a look at this gentleman who I know from back University of Toronto, and he's not there anymore, unfortunately, at the North York Food Bank, unfortunately. Wow.
I mean, we could probably pay part of that YouTube video of...
No, just give me another second. He's now at the Child Development Institute, so he's no longer with the North York Food Bank. Wow. So I have to touch base with him, though. Yeah, I'm going to still touch base. That'd be cool. Dr. Chachi says, oh, dear, sugar water? Wow. That's not a good thing. That's really not a good thing. That is crazy. Okay, let's see if we can put up this YouTube video. Henry Chu, man, left the North York Food Bank. Wow. Oh, boy. And he must recently left because I'm not going to play it, but what I will do is put it in the comments. So I'll put in the comments for everybody, because if you only play part of it, it wouldn't do it justice. So it'd be best if we play the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, oh, okay. Our good stuff. So there's the link right there, everybody. On all the platforms you're watching this, probably except the ACBN Facebook, there's a video there and a link there, and that is for the Raise the Rates Coalition press conference that was held on October 24th of this year, calling for at least the doubling of Ontario Works and the Ontario Disability Program rates. So it is a good watch. It's about 25 minutes long, but if you want to get some further insight on the state of poverty and disability in the province of Ontario, there you go. And the link is there on most of the comment sections on most of the platforms you're watching this live or on replay. Also, some other comments. Charmaine Hussey, First Lady of ACBN, the Afro Caribbean Business Network, says, so sad indeed. And she's also saying, hoping for better to come. Thank you, First Lady. Thanks for stopping by and adding your comments. Yeah, it's the divide is only getting worse, and it's going to take some drastic action and a commitment from all of us, some commitment for all of us or many of us to make this happen. And the leadership, the question is, does the leadership have to come from the bottom up or the top down? And right now, the top down leadership doesn't seem to be working that well.
Well, no, it's so like in the Ontario Disability Support Program Act of 1997, it says the purpose of the act is provide income and employment support to eligible persons with disabilities. Then the second one is recognize that government, communities, families, and individuals share responsibility for providing supports. Then after that, it says effectively serve persons with disabilities who need assistance and is accountable to taxpayers of Ontario. When they made that law, they said it was everybody who has to support everybody. They're not doing that. And I can quote back their own policy to them in my MP letter, but what's the point?
Yeah, it's
And raise the rates. If you go to the Raise the Rates website, we'll put it in chat. They have a petition that you can sign with to help send it to people in Parliament or MPPs so that they constantly see this issue. I think if everyone sends the same talking points every day for infinity, because they'll forget in their political whatever. That's what, like, people with disabilities are brainwashed to feel forgotten. And then when they feel forgotten, they do not do any effort to not produce an income or be more productive mentally. Like me, CPAP machine, Canada Post, trying to get to my landlord to find out where my check is for my rent. That's a level of stubborn determination that I have. Even when I went into the office to like my rental office for my building to ask my landlord, do you have any contact to head office? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I went to the disability office. They said someone at head office is to pick up my check payment. I have no authorization to pick up my check. And then I found out my office has no authorization to pick up my check. But at least we're in communication so that next week when I follow up with everybody, because somebody is telling me the misinformation for my rent check to be paid on time. That, and then I need to figure out a way to make more money to make sure that my rent is still paid in some way, and then hope that my building is flexible enough to understand the situation, that it's multiple things out of my control. It's a big corporation I'm dealing with. They may not understand. I have no idea. I'm a little bit scared, and I can't keep calling everybody at 4 o'clock in the morning being in a panic.
Yeah, not a good place to be having to make 4 o'clock in the morning phone calls on top when you have trouble sleeping.
Yeah, because the machine says I still stop breathing in my sleep. So, like, yes, I get more sleep, but I still somehow stop. And I think the stop breathing in my sleep, that's typically my trauma response when I'm awake. I hold my breath.
Got it.
And somehow my body is doing that in my sleep when I'm processing all my thoughts.
Got it.
So I am well aware of my limitations that are happening, but I still am expected to function like a normal person with everything else going on in the world.
So Fitness IQ Cam says, LOL, calling at 4 a.m. is wild. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So as we wind up today, what are some final thoughts or some calls to action you have for anyone who's listening to this live or on replay?
There's the Hungry Report from North York Harvest. People should go read it. Then understand you are one pandemic or paycheck away from being in that lineup. The church at Sherbourne and Carleton, it goes around the corner from Sherbourne and Gerrard all the way up to Ontario Street, pretty close to Parliament Street. That's a long, long line.
Is that
Waiting
daily?
It's once a week or once a month. It's on that church's website. Because the Carlton streetcar goes near it, and I saw it a couple times. I used to live in that neighborhood, in that building beside the church. And it's a 7-day Adventist church. So I know a lot of melanin people, they probably went to 7-day Adventist. This 7-day Adventist church needs either your donations or find a way to solve this solution at the church level that are like acting as food banks. The food bank network is not just like a food distributing center. Like their churches, their community centers, they're all over. And whatever reason, governments think that's the best solution to feed people, and it's not working. Like I really think somehow people should be able to give them gift cards towards the grocery store. That's the only gift card I like getting. A gift card that already buys my groceries, where I choose my groceries based on the diet supplements that I need based on my doctor's recommendation, so I can go pick it like a regular person with dignity and peace, so I can go home and choose my own options. Because part of all of this stuff, they're stripping away our options. Like we already lived through that with slavery, and we have this now in poverty. They immediately find a way to strip away my options, and I'm trying to fight back to get back my options. And I know there's people out there that are never going to have these options that I have, or the thought process of know that I have options. So yeah, Razor Rates, ODSP Action Coalition, QP, I think they're the union. They may be the union striking right now. I know QP is one of the unions that always is involved in all the strikes that are happening. But there's enough organizations that you can connect with them, find out what they need, write letters to your MPs. It's easier to write to an MP that's New Democratic Party or Green Party. Liberals and conservatives, you could write to them, but they don't respond. Mine is not responding to me. Marcy and Kamala Current, no response. NDP party, Green Party, they're responding to me. And it's just how these political parties are treating their constituents. Some respond, and they only respond when it's the benefit of them.
Okay, well, another good conversation, a lot of enlightening entertainment and education provided by yourself. If you want to get a hold of her, minnieoncam@gmail.com is the place to be and place to go to get in contact with her. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time. And I have to tell people, Minnie on Cam gives a really good detail outline when she wants to come on. She gives detailed stuff. Then there was some stuff we didn't get to today that I'm sure we can carry over to next month.
I broke it down for December and January and February. Yeah. It's okay.
So she's ahead of the game. She's wonderful as a regular guest, a regular friend, because she just lays it out. So all I have to do is basically turn on record, and it's a nice flow. Makes it easy. I want to say to yourself, since you're not going to be on till, well, you will be on during the holiday season. You'll be available.
I'm available.
Okay.
I just don't know what the show schedule is in December.
Yeah. Should be able to do it. I may be in a remote location, but we can still do it. So I just want to make sure that you're available, so we can continue the conversation for the next month, because I know there may be some adjustments, but I'll certainly keep you abreast of what's going on. And Fitness IQ goes, and that means the month is done. Well, tomorrow is the official end of the month, but for the morning vibe this month, we done it.
I mean, that is the purpose of last Friday. The reason we're doing last Friday is when the government of Ontario issues out social assistance checks. Yesterday, I'm in the office. It was busy because of Canada Post strike, but security guards are upset or uncomfortable. It's not even the check day. I'm like, I wanted to say something to them, but I really didn't want them to escort me out the building.
Okay, and Fitness. Go ahead.
This is a system we're in. This is why I do last Friday. It concludes the system of my life every single month of living with a disability. And people with disabilities are always last in the conversations when they talk about them in Parliament.
So Fitness IQ Cam says, yes, my grandma's church is a food bank as well. And the lineup these days, wow. And she also says, November is come and gone. All right. That's a wrap. Minnie Cam, thank you as always for hanging out with us. We'll see you next at the end of next month. But if you celebrate it, happy holiday season. Happy Christmas happy Kwanzaa if you celebrate any of that. And we look forward to seeing you at the end of next, which is the end of the year. Oh, that'll be interesting to see what you have to see. Reflect if you want to do some reflection, also the year from a disability lens. All right. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace and be well and keep the faith. All right, family. Another epic conversation done. Fitness IQ Camp says Financial Literacy Month was a trip. Well, if it was this month, isn't it interesting? The second last day of Financial Literacy Month is Black Friday, where people spend their money, get bait and switched on all this stuff. So very interesting. And Fitness IQ Camp says, happy holidays. I'll message between times. Well, it's up to you, Fitness IQ Camp. Fitness IQ Camp. All right. So let's do some final stuff here. Let's do this. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Yes, again, thanks everyone for pushing us now past 1,610 subscribers. Let's now go to 1,620 subscribers. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group where we continue communication, share information. I send links of replays of this epic conversation and other relevant information. If you want to get a hold of Ryan Oneil Knight, who hopefully will be back here on Monday, website Ryan Oneil Knight, and Knight is Knight. All right. LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight. Instagram at Ryan.Knight99, and email address workwithme@RyanOneilKnight.com. For myself, if you want to get a hold of me, it's the drvibeshow.com website, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. That's dr.vibeshow. Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show, which is at THEDRVIBESHOW. X at drvibeshow. Email address, as you heard previously, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And on a separate third here, Blue Sky. That's I'm going to start going in on Blue Sky over the next few weeks, especially when things are quieter. Gives me more time to focus. So you can find me on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social. And as I said, I went on there, and I know Minnie Cam is following me. I think I'm following her back on Blue Sky. So far, as I said, my experience on Blue Sky, less toxic than on X. So, and also it's a very interesting experience. Maybe I can get Dr. Tachi to come on. Yeah, we need to get Dr. Tachi to come on and give a year-end in socials and social media and things. So would love to have her on with that. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube, and the Afro Caribbean Business Network on Facebook. Thanks for everyone for stopping by, whether it's live on the replay. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. So live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember, as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. We will see you on Monday, but always take care of yourselves. God bless, peace to you all, keep the faith, and walk good.